preliminary video of the new Sunflex24 Touch. This is the main operating screen, and it's set up to indicate sunrise start time, sunset start time, current mode, showing us sunrise has been completed, the daylights are on. We are in breed mode. We're on day 6 of 92 days. Daylight today, 8 hours and 41 minutes and 30 seconds. Displays the current room temperature if you have the optional temperature and humidity sensor. And right now set up for single timer mode. There is an additional feature with a dual timer mode, and we'll show you that once we get to the menu. Touching anywhere on the screen will bring us to the main menu. See if you can get better color rendition out of this somehow. That's about as good as we're going to get for color. Obvious entries: time, date, and dual timer selection, sunrise, sunset time, breed mode values, rest mode values, operating mode. We only have 3 options: manual, we're in breed mode, or we're in rest mode. System options, select fixed sunrise, adjust the night light level if desired, and system status. This would be a menu entry if we had selected a dual timer, and this is experimental. It is not guaranteed at this time. We're exploring the possibility of at least a couple or 2 or 3 different languages. So we'll proceed with the first menu entry. Select date, time, obviously self-explanatory. Dual timer mode, wrong hand, dual timer mode, and the dual timer mode is now enabled, and now that, once we save it, that gives us an additional screen, and now everything changes, and it tells us that now we have a dual timer. So in the middle of the day, sometime in the middle of the day, we are going to turn the lights off. So we had sunrise has started. We're going to do a quick sunset. Sorry about that. Touch the screen. We're going to do a quick sunset right here. And then 4 hours later, according to the way the timer is set up, we're going to do a quick sunrise, and we'll stay in daylight mode until the normal sunset occurs. Everything else that remains the same. The only option is method to do a quick sunset, quick sunrise again. So in other words, lights off, lights on again. And that's about it for the dual timer mode. So back to the screen. We'll leave it enabled for the time being. Sunrise, sunset times, again, self-explanatory. Okay, I don't think anything we need to do in this area. The only thing is the ability to adjust the duration of sunrise. So from the time the internal clock says that it's time to do a sunrise, before sunrise gets to full brightness and turns the main room lights on, it'll be 16-17 minutes based on your settings. Same scenario for sunset. From the time that internal clock says that it's time to do a sunset, it'll take 20 minutes. I believe it'll go up to 45 minutes to actually turn the lights completely off, or it's very important, if you have a setting for night light level, the daylight or sunrise sunset lamps will remain at that low level that you preset. If not, they go completely off. Enough on that. That brings us to the most valuable parts of the system, breed mode. And as you can see, we are already in breed mode, so we cannot make any changes. So I'm going to cancel, and I'm going to go quickly to the mode selection, and I'm going to switch over to manual mode so we don't interfere with anything. Rest mode values. Again, the text tells you we're going to increase this daylight Hours based on the following three values: starting hours, ending hours, number of days to achieve maximum hours. Sunrise and sunset times adjust daily, 15 seconds after midnight. The system changes to manual mode at the end of the breed mode. So here we have the option of how many hours of daylight are we starting with, and this is, by the way, an additional feature of the touch. The original Sunflex24, we could only do in hour increments, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours. Now we can go in 5-minute intervals. So 8 hours and 30 minutes, 8 hours and 35 minutes of starting daylight hours. And you want to end with, let's go up to about, pretend we're really in breed mode, 15 hours, about 15 hours and 20 minutes. Okay, and we want to do it in 92 days. We want to do it in 180 days. It doesn't matter. So you select the number of days. And the important thing is that now we have, because of the display, we have the ability to show you exactly what happens on a daily basis. In this particular scenario, fixed sunrise mode is not selected. So we're going to adjust sunrise is going to be minus 1 minute and 28 seconds every day. Earlier, sunset is going to be plus 2 minutes and 56 seconds every day. Later, if we were to enable sunrise, fixed sunrise, obviously there's no change on sunrise, so we're going to add a total of 4 minutes and 24 seconds at sunset each and every day for the duration of the 92 days until we reach our final count. Pretty self-explanatory. Rest mode, again, the absolute inverse of the breed mode, whereby we start with a high number of hours and we get down to a low number of hours to get the birds a much needed rest. Same thing applies. Fixed sunrise, yes or no. Values change. Number of days, typically breeders do this in a quicker mode to bring the birds into molt mode, and we'll turn that mode off, save the values, and that brings us to now selecting the operating mode. Normal mode is manual mode, where you have a preset sunrise and sunset, and it'll execute that day after day after day without any change. Breed mode is where we accelerate our time so that the birds get into breeding condition. And rest mode obviously is the multi-mode, if you will. The only entry that is required in here to actually put on that mode is the initial starting hours, because every addition or subtraction to time will be based on the initial sunrise starting value. So you need to tell the system when is the normal sunrise, and typically will be whatever you've been doing on a daily basis anyways. So you just want to tweak that a little bit, if you will, before you select the mode. So once you select whether it's in breed mode or manual mode, breed mode or rest mode, you would save it. And if we were to exit, the system will tell us that yes, we are in breed mode. We're on day 0 of 92 days. Daylight today is exactly what we specified, 8 hours and 35 minutes. Okay. If we were to go through a midnight transition, I'll simulate this externally. And you'll see that today we picked up 4 minutes and 24 seconds. And sunrise changed from 6, whatever it was, to 6:21. Let's keep an eye on sunrise again. Let's simulate another one. So we were at 6:21. Oh, we are in fixed sunrise mode, I'm sorry. So the only thing that changes is sunset. So sunset is 15:04, third day, 15:09 and 12 seconds. You notice we don't throw away the seconds. Seconds are very important because seconds ends up to 2 minutes. Okay. So that's the way that works. Let's go back to the main menu, and let's go to the setting for midday lights on and off. The only criteria here is the lights cannot go off. The lights can only go off a minimum of 1 hour after sunrise, and the lights must go off 1 hour before normal sunset. So that's the limits that we impose to make sure that one timer doesn't conflict with the other. In other words, we don't want the midday timer to generate a sunrise before the normal sunrise generates a sunrise. So to prevent that, we put a restriction of 1 hour after normal sunrise, 1 hour before normal sunset is the maximum limits of the midday timer. Again, this is an option only a few breeders will use, and here we typically want to do a very, very quick sunrise and sunset. We don't want to extend it more than maybe just a couple of minutes, I believe. Yeah, I believe the minimum value is 2 minutes. Okay, minimum value 1 minute here. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, so we do basically a quick turning on and turning off of the day lamps, and either bringing them to full light or putting them to sleep. Save the values, and system options. This is where, again, another position where you can switch from fixed to adjustable sunrise, fixed sunrise. This is where we adjust the night light level if you so desire, and if you bring it all the way down to 0, it will go off. Okay, and this is to manually turn the daylights on and off, and that's basically very seldom you'd want to touch that. And this is a system status screen. This is more for diagnostic use than anything else. Run down to the features, how many times the system has been turned on and off, basically. The system will interpret it as power failures, because we do have a very nice routine to recover from power failure. Should something go wrong with timing, extraneous signals triggering the processor into starting a sunrise or not doing a sunrise, okay? We monitor that, and we'll generate a fault. We'll recover from that fault, and we will do a normal sunrise, okay? So in this case, this fault is that the timer said, or the internal interrupt said that it's time for a sunrise. However, the system did not respond in the allocated period of time. So we say, okay, let's log that as a fault, and let's go ahead and do a sunrise. So this is for normal. This will be for midday if the midday sunrise and sunset routines were enabled. This particular fault says that something extraneous happened and the system tried to do a sunrise, but it wasn't time for sunrise. So consequently, we say, no, you cannot do a sunrise, but we will log that as a fault. Same scenario for a sunset, trying to start it, failing to start, or trying to start at the wrong time. Again, in either one of these modes, the system is smart enough to say, no, you cannot, you must do sunset, or here in this mode, we say you must do a sunrise routine, okay? So I'm moving myself around here a little bit. This indicates status of the day lamps, night light level, sunrise mode is fixed, sunrise has been completed, sunset has not been done yet. And here we will trigger that and reset the faults. And this way we're all back to 0. Oops, wrong one. Touch screens are great. They do exactly what you touch and what you tell it to do. System option, and go to status. Again, all the values got set to 0 except for fixed sunrise and sunset complete. And that brings us down to the demo for our attempt at multiple languages, in this case Italian or Spanish. Very limited because I'm waiting for some translation to take place. Again, this is not a guarantee at this time, but we're definitely looking. We are always looking to make the system the best that it can possibly be. We truly pride ourselves into the world-class timer for controlling your aviary or fish or whatever type of animal you try to breed. Thank you very much. Have a great day.